I'm gonna do it.
You're doing it. Oh.
I'm doing it.
Clare Crawley and Dale Moss have broken off their engagement, and we're sharing all the details about this Bachelor breakup. Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We have to talk about this Clare and Dale breakup, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future updates. As always, I'm your host, Gabby Gonta, and I'm joined by the awesome Hiba Berry today. Hi, Hiba. All right, so we're back with another Clare and Dale video, but it's not about their cute weekend getaway or an Instagram update. This time we're reporting that the couple has broken up. So this is big news, Hiba. We've been covering Clare and Dale every step of the way, and this is major news. So first, I just want to get your initial reactions to what might be the end of this iconic Bachelor couple.
I was so bummed to hear this news, and I feel like everyone was kind of, rooting for Dale and Claire, to be a success story because we were so invested with them during her season, and they seemed so invested with each other as well. And it's so unfortunate to hear this news because, you want these relationships to work. I mean, that's the point of these shows is to, get engaged, have a successful engagement period, and then get married, and then have kids, etc., move in together. So this is so unfortunate to hear. And I don't want to say it was a little surprising. It kind of wasn't because unfortunately, during her season, it just seemed like she wanted to get started right away. And Dale was a little bit, a little more on the chill side. He just kind of wanted to go with the flow, but it seemed like, Claire wanted to hit the ground running right after they wrapped filming. So I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit of both sides, but overall, it's just an unfortunate news that broke today.
I agree. I was so shocked when I got the news notification because I had been rooting for them. I think I was a skeptic at first because of how everything played out. But after we saw them thriving for the last few weeks and spending so much time together and looking really happy, I was thinking we were going to be in it for the long haul, at least a little bit longer than this. So this was certainly
Right.
shocking.
Yeah.
But for those of you who weren't shocked about this and are a skeptic and saw this coming, let's get into some of the details because some of them are actually pretty surprising. Dale announced on his Instagram Tuesday with a statement that says, quote, "I wanted to share with you all that Claire and I have decided to go our separate ways. We appreciate the love and support we've received from so many people, but this is the healthiest decision for both of us at this time." He continued writing, "We strongly believe in leading with love and always remaining true to oneself, something our families have taught and instilled in us throughout our lives. We only hope the best for one another." So there's been some rumors that, they were spending less time together or taking some time apart, but nothing official. And then here Dale comes with a complete statement saying, we are literally going our separate ways, wish the best for her, but it's over. So what did you think about this statement and the fact that he just went right out and posted it to confirm it himself on Instagram?
I was surprised that Dale was the first one to post about this. I thought maybe Claire would take, the lead because she was the Bachelorette. This was a season about her and she invested, all this time talking about Dale during her season. So I feel like maybe she would have been the first one to break the news, but I feel like, it's still good to get that confirmation from either one of them. I'll take what we can get at this point. And I'm kind of was also surprised at the point of how quickly he confirmed the news because the news first hit, the press and the media maybe like an hour and a half before his statement came out. So he kind of acted pretty, quickly to confirm this news. And I mean, it's good. He cleared the air out. It was a pretty basic statement, just keeping it very vague. Didn't, dish out too many personal details about the reasoning of, why they broke up. But I mean, I think we'll talk a little bit later about this, about how the reports were, what they were saying and kind of the backstory of why they might have broken up. But I mean, it was good, to kind of just like nip it in the bud before it kind of got a little, nasty with like rumors and stuff like that, how Bachelor Nation can get. So it was good that he kind of like squashed it in the beginning.
Very true. I think it's definitely interesting that it wasn't long with rumors going out there that he came and confirmed it because, of course, when we hear news from a source, it's like, well, this is probably true, but we're never going to actually know unless we hear it from them. So they really took the initiative to get out there and get their own words behind it. But yeah, let's take a look at what some of those rumors and this source was saying ahead of time earlier today. So The rumors about them breaking up or taking some time apart initially began after a source told E! News earlier on Tuesday that, quote, Claire and Dale have been fighting a lot recently. They are mainly in disagreement over lifestyle preferences. Dale wants to be in a lively city and focus on his career, and Claire is rooted in Sacramento to help care for her mom. It's been very tense recently between them. So, this is the main chunk of the rumors that we got from this source, and they're pretty detailed. It says they are living in different cities. It's pretty tough right now, and they've been fighting a lot. So, of course, we don't see that on Instagram. We've seen like the happy highlight moments, but this stuff could have
Right.
definitely been going on behind the scenes. And this statement really speaks to that. So, what do you think about just getting this from this source at E?
I feel like this was surprising because I feel like these arguments or discussions are common for couples to have. And I'm also surprised that this wasn't covered or gone over during their season together on TV for The Bachelorette. I feel like it's a kind of a big thing to disclose that, Claire wants to stay in Sacramento. She wants to be Sacramento based, while Dale is East Coast based. And of course, Claire has to take care of her mom, and it's not something that she can kind of just like leave behind and start her life in a different city, a different coast, far away from her mother that is sick. So I feel like this should have been discussed. I don't know why this is an issue now. I feel like that's kind of a deal breaker that you should kind of disclose before you get serious with someone. So I feel like that was a little bit of a gray area and maybe really shouldn't be discussed. I feel like this should have been addressed, again from the beginning. So that was a surprising thing to learn if that could have been, the straw that broke the camel's back as far as this relationship continuing. But I feel like, yeah, maybe there was other also reasons. Again, like these conversations happen behind closed doors. So really who knows what else is also, not been public as of yet and for our knowledge to know. But yeah, it seems like, her mom was a big role in this and wanting to take care of her and prioritizing her family over Dale. And it's also interesting because Dale was the one to break up with Claire as well, because I know Claire wanted, start a family really soon and wanted kids like now. While he again
Mhm.
was more of like, chill, go with the flow type of vibe. So it was interesting. So hopefully maybe we'll get more details as, the day unfolds, more source reporting comes out, or maybe Claire will also share her side of the story as well. So we'll just have to keep an eye on for that.
Very true. I think in the months after their engagement, they did try to do a lot of that coast to coast hopping. He spent some time in California, and then there were obviously moments of them in New York when they were exploring and like doing Christmas together, and then they were back in San Diego. So it seemed like they were really trying out this different city situation, but maybe it's just to the point where her mom is too sick and she just really wants to be with
Right.
her. So then
Mhm.
that's where it kind of their traveling sort of ended. Like you said, Claire has yet to speak out herself. Her most recent Instagram post is still a photo of her holding her mom's hand with the caption, I'm so thankful to be able to see my mom in person right now. I get so emotional because this time is precious and I know it means everything to both of us, especially as her mind is slipping away and her body is getting weaker. So sad. That's such a sad caption to hear. It seems like she's going through a lot right now. And just the fact that was posted not long ago just speaks to why this is probably, something that's feeding into their relationship issues. What do you think overall about Claire's relationship with her mom and how the traveling is going to be an issue still? And just, the fact that she hasn't come out and said anything yet. And this is still her most recent post.
Right, no, definitely. And I feel like her mom is the top priority right now. And especially if that makes Claire have to travel, coast to coast, especially during a pandemic, so that's like a chance
Mhm.
of her being exposed and potentially bringing it back to her mom that's already sick, with pre-existing conditions. So maybe
Right.
that is also a possible reason, this relationship maybe just wasn't working and it wasn't worth it, to put her mom's health at risk even more with Claire having to travel. So unfortunately, I feel like family takes priority at this point. And unfortunately, I mean, she did really put all her eggs in one basket during this season or her season of The Bachelorette, always investing her time and wants into Dale. So unfortunately, it's not like she can potentially fall back on past guys that she might have had a connection with on the show as well. It just seemed like it was always Dale and only Dale. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, I feel like the way that she kind of played her season of The Bachelorette, it was all about Dale. And unfortunately, again, she cannot really fall back to connections with other guys that she also had on the show. And maybe she doesn't want to at this point, from her mom might be a priority. Maybe she doesn't want to date for a while. Who knows? We'll get there when that time comes for that conversation. But yeah, it just seemed like her mom just takes top priority. And unfortunately, this relationship with Dale just didn't work out. And it just seemed like bad timing overall.
Yeah, that's a good point. We are used to seeing these two together online all the time, and they haven't been in the last few days. So I think that's why the rumors sort of started because, once we're so used to seeing them together, just happy all the time, and then they kind of go silent for a little bit. It's like, what happened? Their last Instagram post together was back on January 9th. So when we think about it, like we're used to seeing them a lot and it's been about a week and a half or something like that. But at the same time, like that's not very long. A week and a half ago, they were still all smiles, commenting on each other's photos, heart eyes, like love you, all this stuff. And so it does seem like it happened really, really quickly. If this is the case, that everything just kind of fell off the edge and ended so quickly. Of course, we know they got together so quickly. So, as fast as things start and kick off, they can end just as quickly, I guess. That seems to be the theme with these two for sure. The source also said that Dale, quote, feels like he's rushing into something he's unsure about. So there is another key to why the relationship might have ended as well. Their love story, as we know, happened in a matter of days, and we all saw Dale's hesitation specifically in their sit-down interview with Chris Harrison after their engagement unfolded. So let's talk a little bit about Dale here specifically and why, he might have been the one to just say, I'm not ready for this. The next step, we know with Claire, she wanted babies. So like, are all these crazy steps that were just like coming towards Dale faster and faster? Is that why we think he is taking a step back now?
Oh, I definitely think so. And I feel like maybe during the filming of the Bachelorette season, it seemed like her excitement was that she wanted to, start a family and really invest into this future with him. And I feel like in the moment, it seemed like a great idea. But then again, once the show wraps, you're engaged, you start dating one another without the cameras there, that reality, it sets in and it becomes real. And these conversations are revisited again without, all the cameras and the crew and everything. So I feel like that might have freaked him out. And I feel like Claire's persistence as well. She has her sights set. Like she knows what she wants. And I feel like Dale, even though their age gap, I think is, I believe, about 7 years. She's 39, he's 32, I believe. It seems like, he might still be in a different phase or chapter in his life in comparison to Claire. And again, I feel like this should have kind of been went over during this season. I feel like these conversations should have been had, and they might have been had, but maybe not as taken as seriously. Because again, once reality sets in, it's a whole different viewpoint, a different perspective. So I feel like Claire kind of being persistent on the idea of having kids and starting a family ASAP kind of, might have freaked him out. Whereas when she first mentioned it, it was more of in the moment and like her saying that she's really interested in Dale and wants to pursue these things with him. But that might have freaked him out, I think, and maybe sent him running to the hills a little bit. But yeah, it just seemed like he was really hesitant on the kids overall, and just the pace as well, I feel like was very different for both of them. So yeah, again, it was just very unfortunate to see overall.
Yeah. I think it's tough when you're on a show like this where the goal is to find love, but afterwards, he's got all these Instagram followers now and tons of ads that he's doing, or, his work schedule in life is probably ramped up now because he's become more of a public figure. So then now his work life has to be at 100%, and there isn't much left for that relationship, which you went on the show for. So it seems like just the timing of everything is not ideal.
Right, definitely. And I also just wanted to quickly mention, I was also seeing some source reporting on page 6 on their website when they broke this news on their website. And they kind of took the angle of Dale coming on this show because he had sights set on to becoming a TV personality. So some fans are arguing that this was just a ploy, to get him fame and notoriety and to get his face out there in the public. So that is another angle that we can also look at this. If it's true or not, of course we won't know. But I feel like, again, these contestants' intentions are so different, and some might come on to genuinely look for love and a connection and a relationship, and others again might just want to play that fame card. So again, it's very wishy-washy. It's hard to know. It's not black and white, unfortunately. So again, there's always going to be that gray area for sure.
That's a great point. I think that is a very real possibility for Dale here, because if that was his intention, it seemed to have worked, and now he doesn't have to deal with the relationship anymore. But also poor Claire, because we know how much she wanted this. So definitely both sides to that. The last quote from our e-news source said that they are both still getting to know each other and figuring it all out. They've decided to take some time apart for now. They are still figuring out the logistics of the relationship and if they will stay together. So this came out earlier today before Dale confirmed that they're broken up. So it seemed like whoever this source was just maybe realizing that things were on the rocks in the relationship and thinking they were going to need some time apart and noticed they were living in different cities at the moment. But as we mentioned earlier, Dale just came right out and, confirmed everything, cleared it off, said they've broken up and they're fully going their separate ways. So a little bit of conflicting opinions there. Obviously, we're going to lean into Dale's because he is, the one in the relationship. But let's just talk about all the skeptics out there who from the start thought, this isn't going to work or he's just in there for fame. Does this confirm everybody who, was saying all this the whole time? Was there any love there between them for all these months that they were together, or was it just a show? What are your thoughts?
Oh man, this is so hard to say. I feel so bad because I feel like Claire was definitely in love and invested. We definitely saw that on her season. But I feel like Dale, in response to the way that she was so affectionate and so head over heels, it wasn't necessarily reciprocated in the same way. And I don't know if he's a guy and they show, and emotions different, whatever. But I feel like Dale just kind of had a different way of processing his emotions and showing his affection to Claire. So as far as him being a skeptic or skeptics, questioning the relationship, or him just completely acting just to be famous and just to get airtime, I feel like that's again so hard to say. And I feel like these source reports you just kind of have to really take with a grain of salt because it could be true, it could be false. I mean, they are the source, not necessarily the person in the relationship. So it could really mean anything. But I mean, I just feel bad for Claire because we were all rooting for her no matter what, just to find someone. And unfortunately, with Dale, it just didn't work out. But I want to believe that it was real. But I mean, I'm just not convinced all the way 100% that it was real. So I'm kind of on the edge too.
Yeah, the same. I think the last few months, just again, when we've seen them happy, I was like, okay, this is real. They're adorable. And I was really invested. And then now that I hear this, it's like, oh man, maybe it wasn't. Maybe this is all
Right.
not as a fairy tale as it was made out to be, which is really sad. But I also think overall, the relationship was just so short. There is just, time is a big part of relationships. And there was just physically not the amount of time for them to get to know each other that deeply and have experiences that root you to that person and things like that. So I just think overall the time spent was probably not enough to be able to overcome any issues that start in the relationship, like her sick mom or like him, getting more work.
Right.
And as soon as, little things start to pop up that, make the relationship rocky, if you don't have that deep rooted experience or that time together or that connection, even if the connection is strong, if the all of the foundation is there, is what I'm trying to say, then it's just probably
Definitely.
not going to work out. So I think that's what happened here.
No, that's a really good point because I've been saying, they should have discussed this during the show. Why didn't they talk about this? But then you brought up a really good point because they didn't really have a lot of time together on the show because, Claire cut it short. They had a couple of weeks and then again, she was head over heels for him and then kind of dished all the other guys. So yeah, the process was definitely rushed. And I kind of forgot about that because I feel like we've been seeing them for so long, on the show and then on social media, them posting for, every day almost, that you kind of forget hey, they weren't on the show together for very long, so maybe they didn't have those conversations right away as the show usually prompts, with all those one-on-one dates and those sit down conversations. So that's actually a really good point. So yeah, maybe they ended up having the deeper conversations later on when they were already kind of head over heels for one another. So again, I just feel like the timing is just all jumbled overall for them.
Exactly, me too. But I want to know what you think about when we will hear from Claire or how she's going to go about it. Because, like you said, it was her season. She was the one who we saw, most of the raw emotion from, and who's probably going to be the most upset when this, all is beginning to unfold. So, do we think it's just going to be the same Instagram post that Dale posted? Is she going to do something in her own words? What do you think?
Ooh, I mean, trying to think in Claire's personality wise, I feel like she's very forward. She tells it like it is. So I feel like we might get a statement from her or maybe a video. I'm going to say the video might be a reach because that's kind of like a hard topic to talk about. I mean, no one really addresses most of their breakups via video. But again, Claire's always, outside of the box. She again says it like it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if she is the one to kind of break that barrier and just do a full video just explaining everything. I don't think she'll go into much detail in comparison to how Dale really didn't either. So I feel like
Mhm.
they'll keep it vague, kind of like short and sweet, just give the public what they want, just that confirmation, just that closure, that this relationship unfortunately didn't work out, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like she might do a statement. I'm just gonna say she might do a statement to be safe, but I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a video from her possibly.
Okay, that's a good guess. I'm so surprised that they didn't just both like post the same thing at the same time. I feel like with most breakups, especially big
Mhm.
Hollywood names, like I feel like they decide what they're going to say, what's the correct wording, go over with their publicist or whatever, and then say, okay, on Tuesday at whatever time we're going to post it, and that's going to be that, both of the people in the couple. But it wasn't like that. It was just Dale, and it's shocking. It makes me wonder, like, did Claire know he was going to post that? Did they like approve the messaging? Obviously, they talked about it, but it's just really strange that she hasn't said anything. And I think she'll probably keep it vague too, but I'm personally hoping she goes into a little bit more detail because I'd love to
Right.
hear, a little bit more about it. And I think she's, one to go on and speak about stuff like this in detail. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more from her whenever she does finally come out and address it.
And maybe a different theory is that because they might have had different perspectives on the relationship, maybe that's why they didn't post at the same time or the didn't post the same thing. Maybe they felt different ways about how the breakup went and maybe the reasoning
Yeah.
for the breakup. It seemed like Dale might have taken the high road and kept it, like that vague format. And who knows, maybe Claire maybe possibly potentially might go into more detail, might, give us a little bit more juice and dirt about really what happened and what the reasoning might be. So I don't know. That's a prediction of mine. It just popped in my head. I thought I'd share.
Yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. Okay, now let's take this relationship and this situation and apply it actually to Tasha and Zach because overall, for the most part, her season was nearly the same as Claire's. It was about half a season. She got a little bit less time with her guys. So they're right now doing the bicoastal relationship as well. And they're, on the same path as Claire and Dale, where we see them every day posting fun, happy things together. But does this mean, it's a bad omen for this couple now who has been going on the same path? Or do we think that Tasha and Zach's relationship is just much stronger and isn't going to end this way? What do you think?
I think Tasha and Zach's relationship is a lot stronger, and it seemed like they went through more hurdles. And Tasha also had other guys that she compared Zach to. So Tasha actually gave all the other
Right.
contestants an opportunity, to fall in love with her, etc., vice versa. But it seemed like Zach was, the ultimate best match for her. And they had a lot more commonalities. They seemed a little bit more on the same pace as far as what they wanted out of a relationship, and as far as when they wanted kids, when they wanted to move in together, etc. And I will have to say, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I have been watching Tasha's stories, and she's in New York right now, visiting Zach and staying with him. And of course, he's East Coast, she's West Coast. And recently, she actually posted on her story saying that she definitely misses, the Southern California weather. New York, the East Coast is a little bit more darker, and she's not feeling like herself. So I thought that was a little bit of a red flag. Maybe she really can't do the bi-coastal life anymore, or maybe she's set on
Mhm.
California, and California might be a deal breaker if Zach doesn't end up moving there with her. But again, I just took it with a grain of salt. She did say that she's still happy in the relationship, and she's just sharing her thoughts and just kind of thinking out loud in that moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
it does seem like maybe East Coast might not be the best fit for her and Zach together, but that doesn't mean that California might not work or it's out of the question for Zach. But I feel like they kind of share a little bit less compared to Dale and Claire. But I mean, that doesn't mean that the relationship is, failing or will fail any less or at all. So
Mhm.
I feel like they might have a better chance of lasting longer or making it all the way. Um, but I don't feel like it's gonna be a Claire and Dale situation, if that makes sense. What do you think, Gabby?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I certainly hope that it's not. I think just thinking back to the moment of their proposal, like I cried during Tasha and Zach's proposal because it was so
Oh,
real. They looked so in love. And then like Claire and Dale's, it was like, okay, this is kind of like nothing's really happening here. So based on just like those emotions and Tasha met Zach's parents and he met hers, and that didn't happen for Claire and Dale on their show. And I'm sure they've met their parents now, but they were already engaged at that point. So it's a little bit of a different timeline
right.
where it seems like Zach and Tasha took those steps to really be sure before they got engaged. And they've both been married and divorced before. So I feel like if they weren't sure, as they said on the show, if they weren't sure, then they certainly weren't going to do this again. So I have high hopes for Zach and Tasha for all those reasons that you mentioned. And hopefully it ends a little bit better than Claire and Dale here.
Yes.
All right, you guys, that is all we have to share with you for now on Claire and Dale, but it's big news. So, of course, we want to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments. Are you surprised by this? Did you see this coming? What did you think of what Dale had to say? When do you think Claire will come out and say something about it? And do you have high hopes for Zach and Tasha? Let us know. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'm your host, Gabby Gonta, and I was joined by Hiba today. You can follow us at our socials on the screen right now. Come say hi and chat Bachelor because we'll be talking about this one for a while. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.